All right, let's just jump right in. Today we're talking about something that's sitting right at the crossroads of, well, two of the biggest tech trends on the planet, AI and crypto. A lot of people are starting to think this combination, this is the next big thing.
For the longest time, these two worlds have been on totally different paths, kind of running parallel to each other. On one hand, you've got AI. Think of it as the brain. It's the engine that powers intelligence, computation, all the models that can see, write, and even reason. And then over here, you've got crypto. That's the trust layer. It's this whole decentralized system for proving who owns what, for verifying things, and for getting people to work together without some big company or bank in the middle. So yeah, two massive revolutions just on their own tracks.
But that's all starting to change. And it brings up a really, really interesting question. What actually happens when you smash these two together? What do you get when you combine the brain with the trust layer? When decentralized networks start powering AI?
And look, this isn't just some what-if scenario anymore. This collision is happening right now, and it's creating a whole new category of tech and, of course, a new kind of digital asset to go with it.
So at the very center of this new world, you have something called an AI token. So what on earth is that? Well, to put it simply, it's a digital asset. It lives on a blockchain, but its entire reason for being is tied to AI. Think of it like this. It could be the key you use to get into an AI service, or it could be like a voting share that lets you have a say in how an AI project is run, or it could just be your stake in the whole network. The key thing to get here is that these tokens usually do two things at once. First, they're a stake, kind of like owning a share in a company, right? If you hold the token, you might get a piece of ownership or a say in where the project is headed. And second, they have utility. This means they're the actual currency you use inside the network to pay for stuff, like, say, renting some computing power or buying a special dataset to train your own AI model.
Okay, this all sounds pretty interesting, sure, but you might be asking, why? Why do we even need this? Well, the people who are building this stuff argue that this new model is a direct answer to some of the biggest, most fundamental problems in the AI world today.
So problem number one, centralized power. I mean, think about it. Right now, a very, very small number of giant tech companies control pretty much everything. The best AI models, the most powerful hardware, all the infrastructure. It's a massive barrier for anyone else trying to get in, and it puts a staggering amount of power into just a few hands.
And that leads right into problem number two, the insane costs. Seriously, training a top-tier AI model can set you back hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's just for the computing power. It's become this arms race that only the super-rich companies can play in. And that just freezes out smaller innovators, researchers, and startups. And last but not least, you've got the data problem. AI models they're hungry. They need tons and tons of data to learn. But guess what? Most of that data is locked up inside the walled gardens of those same big tech companies. This doesn't just slow down innovation, it also makes you wonder about privacy and, who's actually owning and making money off our information.
Okay, so those are some pretty big problems. How is this new AI crypto landscape supposed to fix them? Well, the whole idea is to build a completely new kind of ecosystem, right from the ground up.
For the most part, the solutions being built fall into three big buckets. First up, you've got decentralized compute. The goal here is to create a global, open market for computing power. And this isn't just about finding cheaper GPUs, it's way bigger than that. It's about building an infrastructure for intelligence that anyone can use, one that can't be easily shut down or censored. Then you have data marketplaces. These use crypto so you and I can actually control and maybe even make money from our own data, taking the power away from the big silos and giving it back to us. And the third one is verifiable models. This is super interesting. It uses the blockchain, that unchangeable public ledger, to prove that an AI model's results are real and haven't been messed with. In a world full of deepfakes, having that kind of provable trust is a really big deal.
When you put all these pieces together, you start to see a clear vision emerge. It's a future where the power, the resources, and the rewards of AI are spread out way more evenly than they are today. And this brings us right back to the main point. The argument isn't that this is just some small, incremental step forward. No, it's being framed as a potential revolution, a fundamental change in how AI is built, who controls it, and who gets to use it.
So, okay, why should you care about any of this? Well, the big promise here is that this could actually democratize AI. It could let anyone with a great idea get their hands on the tools they need to build it. It's about creating whole new ways for people to earn money, maybe by contributing their data or even just their computer's spare processing power to a global network. It could also give us AI systems that are way more transparent and trustworthy because you could literally go and check the receipts on the blockchain.
And the ultimate dream? That this unleashes a massive wave of innovation from people in places that are currently shut out of the game.
Which, of course, leaves us with the million-dollar question. Are we looking at the beginning of a brand new democratic era for AI, one that's built on these open, decentralized ideas? Or is this just the peak of tech hype? You know, just two giant buzzwords smashed together to create a trend that'll burn out in a year? The truth is, nobody knows for sure just yet. But one thing is certain. This collision between AI and crypto is without a doubt one of the most fascinating things happening in tech right now, and it's absolutely one to keep an eye on.